3, 2.
Good evening, Premier Planet. This is Justin Barlow, the owner of the Fedora, with Randy Ritchie, and this is your Premier Pro Wrestling number 48 post-show wrap-up. We started the evening with our Something to Prove challenge.
Now, Something to Prove challenge features mostly the PPW training standouts from our training facility. The deal with this is every time these guys go out there, they've got to earn their spot on the roster instead of having what indies call a dark match. It's part of the card, and we always throw something in there to trip them up to make it a little harder.
And tonight, that was a tag elimination over the top rope rule. Start with 2 men in the ring, the other 3 are on the apron, tags were at random, elimination was by being thrown over the top rope.
Not pinfall or submission, which was really something to watch because these guys have never been in that scenario. Every time they go for a cover or try to lock on that arm into some sort of short arm scissors or something, they gotta be reminded, wait a minute, I gotta throw this guy over the top to win.
Exactly. First time we've done that here in Premier Pro Wrestling. Now, Max Cruz...
It's a cool concept. The bottom line, it's a cool concept match. It's not being done anywhere else.
Well, definitely. It's very creative, and I think that's why people really like the Something to Prove challenge. I know that's why I like it.
I like it, and so do the students. They're learning a lot.
Absolutely. Now, Max Cruz, poor Max Cruz, was in the ring. He thought he had won the last elimination, and he thought he was going on to get a match on the main roster later on in the evening, but Texas Pete, in comes Texas Pete.
I like to call him from here on out Sneaky Pete because this is the second time, if you remember, that he's pulled this job. In the beginning of the match, Pete starts out complaining about how much better he is and he shouldn't be in the thing to begin with. Thing is, this is based upon his wins and loses. So, he seems to have targeted this Max kid, and what he'll do is last time he said he wasn't going to enter the thing after he entered it and he left, and then he didn't get counted out because no one saw him and came in, and when Max Cruz thought he won the match, boom, ties him up, pulls the tights, 1, 2, 3, Texas Pete. This time, we were ready for him.
Absolutely. And so Texas Pete won. Sneaky Pete. Yes, thank you for reminding me. He won his position on the main roster tonight.
Now remember, the verbiage on this one was a position on the main roster. So Pete got his ass kicked basically by every student that were training, but what did he do? In typical fashion, you might have seen it in the back in the old WWF where Fabulous Moolah won a battle royal with men by hiding under the ring. Just like an old woman, Pete was hiding under the ring.
Sneaky Pete, old woman Pete tonight. But the position he got was not exactly what he wanted.
But it was a position on the main roster.
It was a position. We gave him what we promised him, or rather, you and the corporate body gave him what you promised him, a position on the main roster. However, it wasn't a match. Tonight, Texas Pete served as our special guest referee.
Our official referee, and had to put on a sweaty, stinky, filthy referee shirt that was worn before him in that first match.
Oh yeah, and the ref in that first match, he had a lot going on for him. He was sweating beads.
Yeah, these lights are hot, hotter than you think.
Yeah.
Anyhow, match 2.
Yeah, match 2. We went on to see D'Angelo Steele take on Heritage Champion, the Heart of Wrestling, Chris Classic.
Now, Chris Classic gets this Heart of Wrestling for a reason. This guy, you can't help but love him. I don't think he has any enemies.
I don't think so. I mean, D'Angelo Steele wasn't too fond of him tonight, but non-title rules apply.
D'Angelo Steele is his own worst enemy.
Oh, absolutely. And D'Angelo Steele actually dominated quite a bit of that match, but Chris Classic showing why he's called the Heart of Wrestling.
The sun shines even on a dog's ass.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. You can't argue with that because it does. But Chris Classic, showing why he's the Heart of Wrestling, was able to beat D'Angelo Steele. Even though D'Angelo thought he had got the pin, the referee counted D'Angelo's shoulders down, and Chris Classic was your winner.
Classic case of counting your chickens before they're hatched.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't want to count the eggs, you want to count the chickens.
Exactly.
Next up, we had not a number 1 contenders match, but a number 2 contenders match.
Which means, and this is confusing, we get it, but the bottom line is this. In this matchup, they're actually competing for a number 1 contender spot on the next event, which is when?
That would be Saturday, March the 21st. Same time, same place. Doors open at 7. Bell time is 7:30. Right here in the Premier Studio in Woodstock, Illinois. That's 1230 Davis Road in Woodstock. We're pretty much right on the corner of Route 14 and Route 47. If you look for the Super 8, you can find us pretty easy.
Right across 47 from Woodstock Harley.
Woodstock Harley Davidson. Excellent point. Right
now
there.
this next match, Unbelievable. Jay Cross, in the last year, has done incredible things in that ring. I'm thoroughly convinced there's nothing that guy cannot do in a wrestling ring. And tonight, he had a speed bump thrown at him.
He did. We had a returning PPW superstar. We didn't announce who it was in advance. It turned out to be the 325-pound incredible Atlas.
325, maybe when he was in 8th grade, that guy's got to go 360 friggin' pounds. And the other thing about it is this is a guy that broke off a couple of Malad Akbar's molars back last year when they were feuding.
That's true. You know what? He did look bigger tonight.
Yeah.
I was afraid to say that early on, but I got you here to back me up now.
But yeah, what am I going to do at this age? But go ahead.
But Atlas J. Horn coming back fresh to the Premier Studio. He
Caught him by surprise. Jay Cross had no time to prepare for this matchup against a guy that is a literal monster.
Yeah, he made Jay look small, and Jay's no small guy. Jay goes 275.
290 pounds.
290.
I'm
He's
not
bigger
kidding.
now too.
No exaggeration.
Oh my Lord, I got to keep up with these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's my job. That's why I know.
Exactly. But, Jay, like you said, he does phenomenal things in that ring. For a guy who's 290, he throws himself around like he's 190.
He can fly. He's got power. He's fast. He's got core strength. The guy, you can't hurt him. Yes, he gets hurt in this ring, and he's so physical. He walks away from each one of these things like nothing.
Absolutely.
The next morning, he gets up and goes to the gym.
Yeah, it's like he hurts for a little while, and he's got superpowers. He heals up overnight.
Yeah. And Atlas is a guy that just keeps coming, like he did tonight. He kept coming. And I can't even remember the finish to the match, but I know Jay Cross won. Maybe you can refresh my memory as well as the people watching.
You know what? I got to be honest. I got really so wrapped up in tonight's excitement. I can't remember really how the match ended. All I know was that it was a pinfall.
I do remember. Atlas went for a black hole slam. Jay was able to, like we said, at 290 pounds, use the guy as a post like a stripper would to swing around and cinch in the small package. 1, 2, 3. Jay Cross advances to a #1 contenders match on the 21st.
On the 21st, March 21st, Saturday
But
night.
Atlas wasn't done tonight. We'll talk about that later. Go
Yeah, it's
ahead.
coming up a little later. After that, we had the official #1 contenders match between Elite E.J. Jensen, who at our last event faced Malad Akbar for the World Championship, but came up short.
Unbelievable matchup, and another guy that's really shown nothing but heart over this last year. However, he can't help it. It's the same type of thing as D'Angelo Steele. He's his own worst enemy. Sometimes he's more concerned about hatred toward everybody else, which we all know is hatred toward himself projected out there, that he ends up in these pickles and loses matches sometimes.
Yeah, and he was so close to beating Malad Akbar last time, and he just let it fall right through the crack because, like
Right
you
at
said,
the end, Akbar beat him by 1 second, and what happened again tonight?
Chase Gosling, your second #2 contender, took advantage of that mindset of E.J. Jensen, and he was able to get the win over E.J. And Chase Gosling is your new #1 contender. He goes on to March 21st, PPW 49, to face the winner of tonight's World Heavyweight Championship match, which we'll cover a little bit later
Now
at
let's
our next
talk
event.
about Gosling for 1 second, because I have to. This is another one that's worked his tail off for the entire existence almost of this company.
Because he's pure heart.
He's pure heart, but the thing with this guy, he is just relentless in the ring, but also toward the fans. This is somebody that really, in the old traditional sense, gets those fans behind him and turns it into energy, and can again do incredible things in the ring. He brings strength into into his mix. The kid is 6'4" and 270 pounds. He can fly. No offense to anybody, but I call it superhuman retard strength, because I've seen what this guy does when he's working out at the PPW facility. And tonight he earned it. Eddie brought it to him. Chase Gosling earned it, and this will be the second time that he's facing Malad Akbar for the heavyweight title on Saturday the 21st.
He's had a couple other chances to face the World Heavyweight Champion in the past, but came up short. He finally gets a shot at redemption in 2 weeks. But next up, we had the new World Tag Team Champions who were crowned a couple events ago. The new Titans,
This
Michael
is
Mack
something
and
to see.
Kelly
I'm
Chapman.
sorry I keep cutting you off,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
okay.
got
Do
it.
your
I
thing.
got to
Do
do
your
it.
thing.
The Juggernaut is almost 7 feet tall, 400 pounds. Michael Mack is every bit of 305. This has got to be the biggest tag team in wrestling today.
We don't even know really what they weigh combined. I mean, I always say they're over 700 pounds because that's all I know. They could be close to 800 for all I know.
It's amazing. The size of these two and the things they can do in the ring as well for that size. How do you move them? Who on this roster, who in the country is big enough to go against these guys unless you pull somebody in like Big Show or Kane? And I don't even think Kane can match with them anymore. As he gets older, he's starting to lose weight.
Exactly. But, tell that to Matt Vine, who, he may not be the biggest guy, but that ego, he thinks, he thinks he can move mountains.
His ego is over 700 pounds.
Exactly. So he comes out, his tag team partner, Alex Bernardino, wasn't
slated to be Alex Bernardino. However, there's some heat between those two. Bernardino had what we would like to, or not like to call, a man crush on Vine for about the past year, and they were tag team champions for quite a few months, and they really did, like it or not, hold on to those belts in questionable fashion or not. They worked hard.
Yeah, and Vine wasn't lying when he said they were the longest reigning Premier Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions in this company's short history.
Mm-hmm. So, sorry.
No problem. Feel free to jump in whenever you know more about this than I do. But anyway,
no, I just act like I do. Go ahead.
But anyway, Bernardino finally comes out. It looked like the two had made up, and for a while there, they were working well together.
Hang on 1 second. Now, let me just say this. I was married for almost 18 years, as painful as it is to admit something like that. And I loved the girl at one point. Matt Vine put more dramatics into the proposal tonight to Alex Bernardino than I did to my ex-wife. I mean, it was almost creepy in a sense.
Almost.
And poor Alex, he fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
He did, and eventually in the match, the miscommunication started. I think it all started
miscommunication, man, I don't even know if that's a strong enough term for what happened tonight with those two not being able to get on the same page again.
Well, you saw it, we saw it early in the match when I think it was Vine had, who was it, Michael Mack's shoulder. He was, pulling it across the top rope while the referee, our special guest referee, Texas Pete, was distracted on the other side of the ring. They went for it again, but this time Mack reversed it, put Bernardino's arm into Vine's hand.
Vine almost pulled it out of the socket.
Uh-huh. And you heard as much as Mack was wailing, when Bernardino being a much smaller guy, he was feeling that pain twice as much, and that's really when the trouble started.
So bottom line is this: what ends up happening is Matt Vine looked to me like faked an injury, leaving Alex Bernardino, all 211 pounds of him, against 700 pounds. And guess what happened? Guess who won that match? Yep. Alex Bernardino got pinned while Matt Vine laid on the apron, wailing like an old dog.
Grandma.
Yeah, I almost went off.
But at the end, who got blamed? It was
Alex Bernardino takes the heat, and in Alex's mind, you can tell by the look on his face, is that my screw up? I don't think so. Maybe I'm responsible for 20%, but Vine put all the heat on him, and then Vine slapped him. He bitch slapped him. He slapped him like a dog. He slapped the taste out of his mouth. He slapped him so hard that Alex rolled till his clothes came back in his style. He slapped him.
Yeah, it caused him to roll all the way over to the corner of the ring. And Vine put a beating on him, and then who comes out? The returning PPW superstar, Atlas J. Horn, all 360 pounds of him.
Now just think about this for 1 second, how disgusting it was with Matt Vine in Atlas's arms like a baby, kissing him on that sweaty, bald head. Oh. Matt Vine is a cheap son of a gun that will do anything to win a match. He knocked the crap out of Alex Bernardino. Alex had to be carted out, and now next month, Atlas J. Horn and Matt Vine face Khalid and Mack.
Is that a World Tag Team Championship
match?
World
Tag Team Championship match, Saturday the 21st in Woodstock.
Oh man, things evened up now that Vine and Bernardino are no more. Now it's Vine and Horn. We'll see how that one goes.
Let's put it this way. He put 2 black hole slams on Bernardino. I don't even know if Alex is going to be ready on the 21st. I'd love to get words with him, but he left here real quiet, didn't talk to anybody. And let's face it, he's still in no man's land. The fans don't exactly like him, and the boys in the back don't exactly like him. That's a lonely place to be. We'll have to see what happens in regards to Alex Bernardino in the near future.
Yeah, but we do wish Bernardino all the best. Hopefully he recovers from his ordeal tonight pretty quickly. But our main event...
let me just say this.
No problem.
In regards to Alex Bernardino, it's not entirely his fault. You can't hate a dog for being a dog.
No.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Our main event tonight, Malad Akbar, he's held the title for what now? Since December 2013. That's what, 14 months?
This is
14 months?
Maybe more. Malad Akbar, who just turned 21 the end of December.
21 years old.
21 years old. He's already had a World Wrestling Entertainment tryout. Okay? This kid knows what it's going to take, has been told what it's going to take. WWE has 3 answers. Yes, no, wait. They told Malad Akbar when he had that tryout at 20 years old, you can't even rent a car yet. You're going to be on our radar for a while, though. So, that being said, that's a lot of stress and pressure for actually a kid of that age to carry, along with that heavyweight title.
Exactly. I don't know, even at 29 years old, if I could do that.
Yeah.
So major props to him. But his
This
opponent,
business is, honest to God, and they'll get to that point, and you indie tards, you don't get it. And I use that word tard as pleasant as I can. You don't get it. This is, when it's all said and done, once you learn this industry, it's 10% physical and 90% up here. Go ahead.
definitely. But his opponent tonight can't take Matt Dewar lightly. There's a reason they call this kid the future.
Yeah, this kid has got the look that Stephanie McMahon dreams of, okay? He's only been in this industry maybe 18 months. He was the first PPW trainee. The kid's got the look, the kid's got the ability, the kid is now starting to pack on muscle mass naturally and is probably, honestly, in line to be the next one from this company to end up getting a WWE tryout.
Yeah, if he plays his cards right, you're absolutely right. He is, he's got the look, he's got the skill, and he's working on getting the bill as well.
Yeah.
And tonight he really took it to Malad Akbar. Matt Dewar has had, I think his 4th or 5th shot at the World Heavyweight Championship against Malad Akbar. And
each time he gets closer and closer. This thing was his almost 2 or 3 times, but Dewar tried something different tonight. Tonight what he did was, in addition, when he had Akbar down, Akbar had hit the referee and they both went down. Double knockout. He went out and grabbed the belt for reassurance.
Mm-hmm. A little insurance
sign of
policy.
insecurity.
Absolutely, and that ended up costing him. I mean, Malad was able to put 3 German suplexes on him, and then
3 beautiful German suplexes.
Oh, they were gorgeous.
All I was thinking when I was watching that is better Dewar than me.
Yeah, perfect arc on those things. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of those.
I would have laid there the first one to just pay me.
I think I would have been done after the first hoist, but Dewar, somehow, he held on to the belt through all 3 suplexes, and then when Malad went up for his trademark diving headbutt...
Unbelievable. Did you see the distance that he got? Nobody in the industry gets that kind of distance. It was literally from one end of the ring to the other on that headbutt.
At the very least 3/4.
Unbelievable.
Dewar was, I think, where we're sitting, and Malad was on the other side of the ring.
Unbelievable.
But Dewar gets that belt up, Malad hits his forehead on the belt, Malad is out. Dewar at that point
he's got
thinks that he's
champion
won.
across his forehead right
Absolutely.
now.
Well, and it's fitting.
Backwards.
It's fitting. Well, at least when he looks in the mirror, he has a reminder.
Yeah.
But, Matt Dewar, like you said, sign of insecurity, he lost focus tonight. And Malad being... I don't know how to describe Malad Akbar. He's like, I think Dr. Evil put it best in one of the Austin Powers movies. He's like a vicious... No, it was Seth Green. He said he's like a vicious little chihuahua thing.
Yeah.
And he was able to capitalize on that insecurity of Matt Dewar, and I believe he finished him off with a camel clutch.
With the patented camel clutch, he was able to get Dewar to tap. Now, let's talk about this just for a second. Malad Akbar's held this belt for a long time, but for the last, I would say, at least 6 to 8 months, he's won that, or retained that thing and won his matches by very close margin. So I think it's a combination of a couple of things. Number one, these younger guys that were training and our original trainees are starting to stand out. Number two, you've got guys starting to focus and realize, hey, this guy's on WWE radar. What if I beat him? Okay. The other thing I'm noticing, and a lot of you don't, because you don't watch like I do, I think Akbar is starting to get a little paranoid because these wins are not coming as easy as they used to.
No, they're not.
He's earning them, and he's earning them by the skin of his teeth. I don't know, and I'm not going to go ahead and say there's frustration there, but how could there not be?
Right, and Akbar is not getting complacent at all. It's not one of those things where I've been champion for 14 months. It's smooth sailing now.
I wouldn't say he's
vicious.
definitely cocky, but I know that kid.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he would rather win, as we all would. It's human nature, by a larger margin than what he has been.
Absolutely, but I think
How
you're right.
long can you be that lucky for?
No, you're absolutely right, and you know you're right in saying it's not because of him. It's because the younger guys in the back, they're getting hungrier and hungrier because, like you touched on, not only is he the champion, he's on WWE's radar. So what if one of them can knock him off? What does that mean for them? Because WWE is watching this company.
That's what I'm saying. And then what happens then? Boom, by osmosis. So that's it, right? That's all the matches.
Yep, that was
Let's
our main
wrap
event
this
for the
thing
evening.
up. Sorry this thing went long, but I think it's been more informational having your straight guy and your color guy. We'll see you on the 21st. Again, would you run down the information for it?
Nope.
Because you're better at that than I
No
am.
problem at all,
I'm lucky
Randy.
to remember my middle name at this point.
It's Saturday night, March the 21st. Again, same time, same place as we always do. Doors open at 7 p.m. Bell time is 7:30. Ringside seats are just $12. General admission just 10. Kids 12 and under get in for just $5. You can't really beat that.
And it's a studio taping.
A studio taping here inside the Premier Studio. Again, that address is 1230 Davis Road in Woodstock, Illinois. We're right on the corner of Route 14 and Route 47, across from the Woodstock Harley-Davidson, and pretty much right next to the Super 8 Motel, right there. And I think that's going to do it for us. You know, for Randy Ricci, for Justin Barlow. Randy, thank you for being on today.
Thank you,
Any
and-
final thoughts?
Thanks a pants load.
I think that sentiment speaks for both of us. We'll see you folks on the 21st.